Hey guys, it's Vera Wild, and it is time once again for Dear Vera. And this one was, do you find that you get treated differently when dressed as a girl compared to when you are dressed as a boy? Just very curious. Not as much as you would think. And again, I think part of that has to do with the fact that I don't dress in any sort of deliberately provocative way, and I mean that both in terms of, how much skin I'm showing, but also in terms of I'm not particularly aggressive with the way I dress. I'm not wearing anything that's declaring my gender fluidity. Or things like that. I don't, and then I do own like a tank top with a mixed gender symbol, and I do have stuff like that, but I don't wear it out very often. So, I think part of the reason I don't get a lot of differences in terms of the way people react to me is that I don't behave excessively differently. And I mean that in the broad strokes because, I do, my mannerisms change. I get more feminine. It alters the way I walk and the way I use my hands and all the rest of that. But I don't engage in vastly different behaviors. I'm usually browsing. If I'm out, I'm browsing the same kind of stores. I'm doing the same sorts of things. So in terms of like people who I don't know and who are just encountering me, occasionally I'll get like a sideways glance, but that's about it. I've said before, I've never been directly confronted in public to date. And I've been going out in public for over 10 years now. And it still hasn't happened. So I haven't had to deal with anything like that in terms of, I think people like store clerks and whatnot are actually a little bit nicer to me as a girl, but I think that probably has more to do with the fact that I know I smile a lot more when I'm dressed as a woman. Like it's sort of almost an instinctive thing that I do it more often, and I think they're more responding to that than how I'm actually dressed. In terms of whether or not people who actually know me treat me any differently, not really. Not if they know me well. People who are just acquaintances, if they've seen me in both modes, when they see me in whatever mode, be it boy mode or girl mode, when they see me in whatever mode they're not used to seeing me in, I can see them start like feel a little weird about it. Usually though, that has to do with pronouns. I'll probably do a separate video at some point talking about that, but people increasingly are very concerned, and they want to be sure they're using the right pronouns with me, which is something that changes. I can't just say, oh, well, when you see me use this, because it is entirely dependent on how I'm presenting. But once they actually start talking to me, I'm the same person with the same interests. I talk about the same sort of stuff. So I will get that sort of initial hesitation, little trepidation, from someone who is used to seeing me more cleanly in one way, who is seeing me either straddling the gender line or more in the mode that they're not used to. I will sometimes see that trepidation, but it usually fades quickly. Because as I say, the ways in which I behave differently are pretty superficial. And I don't think it takes long for people to realize, oh, it's the exact same person with the same interest who cares about the same things, and so there are little things that people will treat me different, both people who know me, people who don't, but it's a surprisingly consistent through line in terms of how people speak to and react to me. So I think that'll be it for this one, folks. So you can send any questions you have to me to verawild@gmail.com, wild spelled WYLDE. You can also leave comments on here. You can direct message me on YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm on Flickr. I'm on Twitter. I'm all over the place. I'm also on Patreon, and you can take a look at that. There'll be a link at the end of the video. Please consider supporting me there as well. So thank you so much. Keep those questions coming, guys, and until next time.